Hello, we'll get started then. So hello, my name's James. I work for Breedr. If you don't already know what Breedr is the precision livestock app for forward-thinking farmers, and we see our mission to simplify livestock farming and helping you produce and market more profitable animals with higher welfare and less waste. And we do that by working with wonderful farmers like Paddy. Thanks for joining us this evening, Paddy.
Evening.
We're gonna chat to Paddy in a minute. And we're joined by Mel. Mel, you work for Breedr and you help manage the relationship between the dairy farmer and the calf rearers, don't you?
Yeah.
Excellent. So, guys, we're going to be about half an hour this evening. We're going to have a whistle-stop tour about our about how we're helping you add value to your beef dairy calves. We're going to do a little quick demo. We're going to have a chat with Paddy. Do ask questions. Mel, I'm not able to look at Facebook. If you could have a look at Facebook and just check if anyone's asking questions there. Okay. That'd be great. But if you're on Zoom, you can use the Q&A, you can use the chat. If we can't answer your question live because we've got so many, we will follow up with you via email. So, yeah, do ask questions as we go through. So thank you for joining us. We're going to kick off. So, Paddy, we're here for, a specific reason. There's been a catalyst in the industry, a bit of a step change. And that would be what Arla is calling every calf has a value. And could you just explain what that means to sort of people who might not understand?
Well, every viable calf that's born should be given the opportunity to be reared right the way through and not be euthanized.
Yeah, and I suppose what kind of problems does that create for you? Do you have to prove that? Do you have to, why was that sort of cause issues for you and your farm?
Yeah, for our Arla audits, we have to be able to prove that every single calf that is born healthy gets right the way through to 8 weeks and hopefully beyond, because it'd be a bit stupid anyway, 8 weeks really, I think.
Yeah, and I suppose that's what, one of the things we're going to be talking about this evening is how you can not only I know we'll talk about how you do it, but how you prove where that animal goes. So don't forget to ask questions as we're going through, guys. If you've just joined us, welcome. You haven't missed too much. We're going to be about half an hour. Do ask questions as we go through. So at Breedr, we are rethinking the livestock supply chain. We've got our free livestock management app, which you can get hold of now. You can download our supply chain and trading tools, and our livestock financing and our benchmarking and optimization piece. Hello, Ian. You're very welcome to join us. And we see ourselves as part of the future of British farming. And every single British farmer who uses Breedr, we see you as part of the future. And we really thank you for coming on the journey with us. So with what Paddy's been talking about, the way that we bought and sold livestock hasn't really changed in 100 years. And, when you're buying a car, you wouldn't pay the best price without the MOT and the service history. And the same goes for buying livestock. To get the best prices available to you, you need to have that data available. And that's what Breedr facilitates. We facilitate you sharing the data and getting those best prices that go alongside with it. And at every stage in the livestock supply chain, the data helps us make better decisions. So from the calf rearer to the rearer, the sire information is crucial there to be able to help the rearer make the best decisions. From the rearer to the finisher, knowing what vaccines that calf has had really helps you know with certainty that the animal that you've bought is what you're looking for. You want animals with a strong colostrum history and a strong strong vaccine history. And at the same time, there's machine learning, which is benefiting everyone up and down the supply chain with the Breedr predictive algorithm, which helps you plan your transitions and your growth rates and identify your top and bottom performing animals. And that knowledge exchange and that information passes back down the supply chain. So if you're a dairy farmer and you're selling to a rearer, the Breedr facilitates that conversation, which means that you're able to make better decisions on the cattle you supply to your rearer and hopefully then also get paid a better price for them. So that's why we're really excited to announce live weight trading, which if you've been part of a Breedr, you would have seen, and Paddy's been one of the many farmers who's been helping test it. And this is a real step change in the way that people are buying and selling cattle. You can buy and sell cattle with proven credentials. You can see the medical history, and you can see the number of farms it's been moved on. You can see its weight history before you buy that animal. And then you're buying, that means you're buying an animal with a proven service history. Much like you would buy a car and go on the MOT Gov Checker, you can do the same with Breedr, and that's exactly the same technology we're bringing to you now, the ability to make those decisions. And then the whole underlying this all is better prices for lifetime data, being able to track that animal straight from the dairy farm all the way through to the finisher. So how does it work? Well, it's a really good question. Not that Paddy, you or Mel, you've asked it, but I'm sure there are other people out there asking it. Do ask questions as we go through. If you're on Facebook, Mel's checking Facebook. I'm here in the chat and the Q&A box. There's lots of you here, so do ask questions. So what happens is the dairy farmer imports their BCMS registry. This is an automatic link. You don't have to do your movements in Breedr. We just take the herd registry and it updates every morning. So when Paddy lists a new calf, when Paddy has a new birth on his farm, that comes straight across into Breedr the following day. When you've got enough calves to sell, you create a listing in the Breedr trading platform on your phone or on the web. And then when that animal is sold to the rearer, the sire information, the birth date, all of that information transfers across to the rearer. You then, as a dairy farmer, get an 8-week report which shows the live status of those calves. And that means then you're able to track every replacement on your farm, any animals you sold via Breedr, and this gives you the confidence that the animal that you've sold hasn't ended up in somewhere that you don't want it. When you sell through the market, you might not know where that animal goes, but we give you the report that then you can then show to your milk producer, but also gives you the confidence that those animals that you sold haven't gone anywhere they shouldn't, and they're still alive on the end farm. If they do die, you get the reason for why they've died, which then helps you validate the fact that maybe a few of them died. And what does it mean for your calf rearer? Because this isn't just adding value to your business, it's the same process of linking it through, but for your calf rearer as well, they're able to track the weights and medications that they give to that animal, and that helps them then create that extra data which increases the value of that calf. They're able to look at things like the sire performance. So this is one of our reports, and we can see then on this graph that Duster is Elation is a better sire than Duster, and much better than my Red Devons. So the whole idea is at every stage we're increasing value with data by making your animals more valuable. And this is available to we have farmers, we have calf rearers in our national network. If you don't already have a rearer, don't worry, because we've got people who are ready to purchase your dairy calves. And if you do have a rearer like Paddy, when we met Paddy already had a rearer, it's easy to invite and get them involved. And your rearers get the benefits of BCMS movements, our alert system, the medicine logging by scanning a bottle, our easy weighing tools, the ability to organize their farm and access all of the reports. They can have multiple users, and the app works online and offline. And if that wasn't enough, Mel, we send them a £75 True Test voucher, a beanie. In the summer, you get a hat. And we're also running a Weigh to Win competition, which is all about encouraging farmers to weigh, to once again build up that data so that when they come to sell those animals, they can get the best prices. There are other benefits. So we've got livestock financing support for Breedr Impact. We've got our team of people available on the phone who are able to give you chat and email support, and you're able to manage your young stock as well. So we have quite a few dairy farmers who are using the Breedr tools for managing their young stock. You can find new rearers or invite your existing ones. You've got people like Mel who'll be your account manager, and then also we can help you with benchmarking and that sort of thing. And here we have a picture of Kiku, who's a dairy farmer in West Sussex. So we've got farmers all over the country. So Paddy, I've talked a lot, and now we have you. So we know you're in Cumbria, but who do you supply with milk, and sort of how many cows have you got?
So we supply Arla Morrison's. We're based in southwest Cumbria, 400 pedigree Holsteins, mainly, well, all sex semen or beef. We don't use any conventional anymore. Don't really see the point. So yeah.
And are you all year round calving, or
all year round?
Right. So that must create some logistical issues with calves if you're not quite set up for it.
Can a little bit, but we use the same. Like, we don't have to have masses of space for one block of calves. We get to sort of use it throughout the year. Right.
And I mean, so how big a problem do you think it is for you for not knowing where your calves are going when you're selling them?
Well, for me, on my Arla contract, I've been on the Morrison's one. Well, on the Morrison's contract, we've had to have guarantee no calves being euthanized before 8 weeks since, I think it's October 2019. So, and if we had any calf that was euthanized, like it was found to be, we'd lose our contract. So it's been very important we can tell where our calves have gone and will go in future, just for those, well, hopefully forever, like they'll be going right through and be reared and finished and everything. But yeah.
But I mean, that's the important thing to say, is because you've been under these real restrictions, but you've been encouraged to do this for a while now. But from the 1st of January, it's a big change for every other Arla dairy farmer who has to do that as well now, don't they?
Yeah, as of 1st of January, no healthy calves allowed to be euthanized for 8 weeks.
Yeah. So, I mean, what kind of genetics? You said you had Holstein genetics on your farm, but I mean, do you find that having the Holstein genetics helps you or hinders you when it comes to selling calves?
Not too much of either, really, I wouldn't have said, because we use sex, so we only get black and white bulls very rarely. My rearer takes them, he takes everything, because he gets the good blue calves as well, which have plenty of frame, can carve a good big calf for the Holstein as well. The Angus is out of heifers. Bull calves are good. Angus heifers can be a little bit of an issue because there's that many about in the industry now that they're not always wanted for rearing for suckler replacements. Yeah.
And what kind of genetics are you using on your beef calves, or is it all your everything's to? Sorry. So yeah, what are you using on your beef calves?
Well, it's all blue on cows and then Angus on heifers if we don't put them to Holstein.
And you've been using Breedr for a little while. You've given us some really good feedback. And how have you found sort of the process of sort of listing calves and you know, thanks again for your feedback. It's been really useful.
Yeah, no, it's been pretty easy. So start with obviously getting used to it is a little bit of a change from what just texting my rearer and what I've got on there. We can plan it a bit better now between us. And I made a suggestion of being able to just add the group instead of add individual calves, so you can put your calves all in one group, and then when that group's ready you add that, and it's very simple. You just say your location, your average price per head, what sex it is, and which calf it is.
Yeah, and then the calf report updates, and you can use that, and you get paid securely, and there's not much to worry about.
Very simple.
And so what are you looking to get out of it long term? This is not just a calf report. What sort of long term are you looking to get out of Breedr?
Well, personally, because I want to keep that relationship with my rearer, I want to be able to see what calves are performing the best for both him and then for the finisher who buys them off him. So the sire reports that can be available later on for the calves I've sold, I can select which bulls I use better that'll suit both of us, not just me, on like easy calving, for example, but might give a bit more shape as well as be easy calving for him.
Yeah. And that's really important, is finding genetics that work for both parties. And in Breedr, in the future, when those animals go to slaughter, you'll be able to see the carcass grading, so not the price, but you'll be able to see the grading and the weight, and like I said, the sire report as well, which is really useful information, for you to be able to make those better decisions. So guys, do ask questions of Paddy. Paddy's joined us this evening really kindly, so if you've got questions specifically about Paddy's experience with Breedr, or just generally, he's a very interesting chap to talk about, and his farm is lovely. So we've got some questions, Mel, so I'm going to read these out and then we can answer them all together. So we've got a question from a chap called Tom. Can the medicine data and weights be linked to uniform agri? So in Breedr, our attitude is that you own the data as the farmer. This is the data that you're recording. It should be really easy for you to get out of Breedr, and that's why for people who use Breedr and just as their farm management system, you can download those reports. So in Breedr, Tom, you're able to download that information, those weights, and that medical data, and you can upload that into Uniform Agri. I don't know how easy it is to put that data into Uniform. We'd love to link directly, and that might be something we do in the future, but you can definitely download that information and then upload that into your system. So I hope that answers your question. If it doesn't, do feel free to ask another one. And we've got lots of questions now, which is great. So another question from a chap called Stephen. Who sets the price? So Mel, I know, I'll explain how it works in Breedr, but I know there's something that you can help farmers do in this situation as well. But what happens is that as the dairy farmer, you basically set the price. You say, I think these calves are worth this. And then the market then comes in and gives you offers. So you can get multiple offers against your listings. You can either share directly with your rearer like Paddy does, or you can open it up to the market and say, you know, what are you willing to sort of pay for these? You can get multiple offers. You can accept and reject these, and you can then do it. But also, Mel, you are on hand, aren't you? So if anybody is wondering what the best price is to put those animals out, that's something you're able to help with, isn't it?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, more than happy to take a call from anyone. Obviously, we'll have quite a few calves being sold through the platform, so I'll have a better idea of what you should be asking. But obviously, the data that you're providing should command a premium.
So, Paddy, we've got a question here from a chap called James. And it says, Paddy, do you end up duplicating, replicating sort of data entry?
No, not really. Download works quite well, but I am keen for you to get the uniform link up and running.
As are we. It's the Dutch, not us, I promise. Pardon?
Pick them harder then.
Yeah, well, definitely. Maybe if you all sign up, we give us some buying power. We've got another question as well from the same person. I sell a batch of Wagyu calves every year. If the next holding had breeder, when the calves moved, all the info moves with them, correct? Yeah, so anything that's not financial information moves with that animal, but it's really important that the information that you've added that you want to protect doesn't move with it. But things like weights and medicines, that they want to see moves with the animal, and that all happens automatically. There's nothing that you have to do. So I hope that answers your question. If not, do ask. We've got two more questions, and then we'll move on to the demo. We'll move the screen, so we don't have to look at Paddy in two places. What percentage of your herd do you serve? I suppose, Paddy, this is a question for you from somebody called Rachel. What percentage of your herd do you serve to beef semen, and how do you collect the cows, heifers you're using semen on? So I suppose the question is, what percentage are sort of you serving your beef semen to, and how are you making that decision on which ones to use?
Crikey. I think we're about 60% get beef on them now, because we're getting very good results with sexed. How we select what gets put to black and white. Heifers are all on genomics. Everything's tested genomically. Bottom 20% now, might even be higher. I haven't just looked recently what my cutoff is. The bottom 20% at least go to beef. And then with the cows, if it's a good cow, performing very well, no problems, good fat and protein, etc., it'll get a chance of sex twice. Otherwise, it's straight to beef.
Yeah. And Paddy, I know you've put in a really nice parlour, and you've just gone for a big period of growth as well, haven't you, in the last couple of years?
Yeah, we've just gone from 250 cows up to 400 and put in a rotary and greenfield site. And we have got a crazy amount of heifers on.
It is quite the farm. And Paddy, there's a question here: how many rearers do you deal with? And I suppose I can answer that, which is, you rear your own replacements, and then you've got a chap who uses Breedr and buys the calves. But he was your existing farmer. You brought him into Breedr, didn't you?
Yeah. So we rear all our own, and then I've got a lad called Damien who buys all my calves. He takes every beef calf pretty much that I produce between 2 and 3 weeks when they're fit and healthy and doing well. And he's come on board with using Breedr because it just makes it easier for him to plan. And then I can also get data back, so I can select better which bulls for him as well as me.
So we've got quite a few more questions, and I'm going to pause questions for a minute. I'm going to power up a demo. So do carry on asking your questions. We will come back to them. Don't worry. We're going to just show you a little bit about what Breedr can do. I can see we've got some questions about what Breedr can do for me as a dairy farmer with also my own beef herd. So I'm going to just talk about that quickly, about what you can do in the Breedr app. So, I'm just sharing my phone to my computer. So this is my phone here, and this is the Breedr app. We've also got the Breedr web portal. So Breedr is available as an Android and also an iPhone app. Works on tablets too. But also we have a PC web portal. And the way you access that is you don't have to download anything. You just go into uk.breedr.co. The things you can do in the app, first of all, is that if you've got multiple people on your farm, you can invite those all in. If you've got multiple holdings, that all works really well. And the sort of the free things you can do in the app is you can measure your animals. So you can have your entire herd registry is here. So every animal you have on the farm is here. We can see the difference between steers and bulls. We can see the history of the animals. So this is a heifer on my own farm. I'm a farmer, I've got a tenanted suckler farm. But you don't have to use it this way as a dairy farmer, but you could do if you're using this for your young stock. And we do have many farmers that do, because I know uniform's not great with your young stock, and sorry, dairy comp's not great with your young stock. So I know many of you do that. You can see your entire animal history. You can scan a medicine. So if you've got lots of medicines, this is the medicine cabinet. You can come in here and you can scan a medicine. So, and that then populates your records. We can see here that it's taken across sort of the batch number, and the expiry date would come across, and all of the withdrawals, and it would populate your cabinet. So when you go to add it to an animal, it's really easy to use. Then we've got the breeder crush mode. So the breeder crush mode is where you can really easily weigh your animals. So either you can do it manually by typing in a weight, or you can, it links with various Bluetooth weigh heads. So you can really easily see the daily live weight gain of an animal, the change in daily live weight gain, and that's really good for tracking trends. So if you've got your own beef herd, or if you've got young stock, you can do all of that. But if you are just wanting to sell your calves, what will happen is that you'll log that birth on Uniform or whatever system you're using. Breeder then gets populated from BCMS, and what you do is you then come in and create a trade. And I'll just show you how you do that. So you go into selling. You'd click on the plus button, give it a really quick title. You'd select your location, you add your calves. Here you can see here, this is the new feature that Paddy requested, which is the ability just to select a group. So I could just select 2019 calves and show me those animals, and then I could select all of those animals that I want to put up for a trade. You can review those, submit. I'd add a price. So what do we want for my in-calf heifers? What do you think? I think £1,200 sounds quite nice. We could add a photo, and we could give a quick description. TB comes across, you can add all that information, and then you've got your trade. And what they'll see is they'll see the farmers who come in and see, this is one I made earlier. They can see the title, they can see the history, and they can see a description. And this is also all available in the web app too. So we go into trading, we go my listings, and then what happens when they click on the animal is they can see things like daily live weight gain, the current estimated weight, time on farm, and then we're just adding the medical data and also the number of animals farms it's been on, which is coming out next week. So there's lots of sort of information available at your fingertips. So we've got some more questions. So I think we'll go back to those. But if anyone's got any questions about what you can do in Breedr, do ask. We've got a question here from Facebook. What are the benefits of the app for a dairy farmer who rears beef and finishes all of their own dairy beef? Well, I think we just talked about that. So you're able to manage, to measure your animals, so the weight data, the medical data, and then you're also able to manage it. So you can look at some of the reports. You can see here, this is a report that we have. Shows me in the last 7 days, my 22 animals have created 154 kilos of beef, which is quite interesting. You can come in here and you can see all sorts of information. So we can see sort of predicted weights of our different groups, which if you're finishing your own dairy beef is very valuable. Mel, do we have any more questions from Facebook?
No.
If not, we've got loads here. So how many calves are traded via Breedr? Well, as this is really exciting, this is a new thing that we've created. We have several farmers like Paddy who are testing with their rearers, but this is something we want you guys to get involved with. So if you sign up today at breedr.co, and there's a big button that says Get Breedr, make sure you select dairy when you sign up. Mel will give you a call and we'll get you going either with your existing rearer or we'll help you find a rearer locally. So this is something that's brand new. It's not available for every farmer, so do sign up now and it'd be great to talk to you. We'll call you tomorrow, and that's sort of the action there. And so how many buyers in Breedr? We've got over 1,000 farmers signed up to Breedr, so potentially there are over 1,000 buyers. And the thing to remember as well is we've got buyers in all parts of the UK. We're focusing initially on a tight geographical area for where we're going to turn it on for everybody. We will help you find a buyer, wherever you are in the country. If you're a dairy farmer today, you can sign up and get the 8-week calf report. And if you haven't already got an existing calf rearer like Paddy does, we'll help you find a buyer locally. Well, we had quite an inappropriate question. We'll save that one for the end. Asked anonymously as well. Are you linked into the new system after BCMS from a chap called John? So the Livestock Information Programme is probably a good couple of years off, but when it does come around, we'll definitely be involved in. If you're thinking about waiting to sign up to Breedr for LIP to come, I wouldn't wait. I would get started sooner. So weighing must be an advantage to selling, but is it essential? So Paddy, you don't weigh your calves before you sell them to Damien, do you? You're muted, but I think you're saying.
I haven't been, but that is the plan once we've got our new calf shed up and running.
Great, but I think the thing is that you can sell in Breedr without weights. We get the sire information and the genetics for selling calves. Weights are not vital. If you're selling things like store cattle or finishing stock, weights are really important. And the Breedr predictive algorithm, the more animals you weigh, and the more regularly you do it, the more powerful it becomes. Can you register births through the app? So yeah, to be clear, you don't have to. You can register animals in your existing system, and Breedr just pulls, but you can do movements, births, and deaths through Breedr. If I show you how easy it is to scan a passport, my well-organized file of passports, so I can show you if you're doing an on-move. So this is to create an on-move. Say you bought 10 cattle from your dairy farm or your calf rearer. You'd come in here, you'd scan the code, and then you'd instantly see that it's populated, that it was a male, state of birth, its sex, its breed, its sex, and then I would just need to add, any information like sire if it wasn't on BCMS, and then I'd create that, and then I'd be able to send that movement to BCMS straight from Breedr. So I hope that answers your question, Christopher. But yes, you can send movements and births and deaths to Breedr, but you don't have to. We have a special button in the Breedr settings, so it's not, if you don't want to, you can connect Breedr to BCMS, but then not send the movement, send any movements to Breedr. To BCMS from Breedr if you want that protection because you want to do it for your own system. How does Breedr make it money? Is it a subscription service? So Breedr, the app is free, so you can do weighings and logging medicines for free. You can sign up now. And we make our money via our financing and also our trading. So you trade cattle dead weight in Breedr, but also we're launching this new live weight trading that we've been talking about this evening. And we take a Breedr service fee as part of that. If you sign up now, that Breedr service fee will be free until the end of March. So you can trade in Breedr throughout January, February, and March with no service fee. But you still get all of the benefits of the 8-week calf report. You get secure payments, and you get the support of people like Mel to be able to help you as well. We're coming up to half an hour, so do ask more questions. I can still see there are a lot of you on Zoom. I'm sure there are lots of you on Facebook as well, so do ask lots of questions for Paddy, for myself, or for Mel. I have one question which I just need to read carefully, so could someone create some small talk whilst we do it? Paddy, what are you milking tomorrow? You were on the slurry spreader, were you, the other day, or?
No, not milking tomorrow. I don't even know what I'm doing tomorrow right now. Haven't got that far ahead. We're moving some calf pens around to clean shed for a bit of a break for any bugs that are in there. That's the main thing, really.
Well, that sounds, yeah, I mean, biosecurity is a big problem, and that's another reason why to use Breedr. There's a huge time saving. I know, Paddy, you were saying that you're not duplicating information by texting people, but if you are going to market to sell your calves, selling through Breedr, there's a real time saving there because you're not having to go to the market and sort that all out. How much is the service fee? The service fee is 3%. And like I said, if you sign up in January, February, or March, it's completely service free. The second part of this question is how many calves are being traded via the app across the UK? I mean, like I said, this is a brand new service which we're launching with you tonight. So if you sign up tomorrow, you'll be some of the first people in Breedr. Like I said, we have over 1,000 farmers signed up to Breedr already. So we already have a big pool of farmers who are able to buy your calves. But that's exactly what Mel and the procurement team are here. There's a team of people who sit alongside Mel to help you find a rearer. So if you're worried about your calves not being sold, you have nothing to lose. You obviously don't pay for it until March. And if you have an existing rearer, you can invite them into the network, but you can still get all the benefits that we talked about, all of the 8-week calf report, the calf feedback, and then information about sort of the best sires to be using on your calves, like Paddy's talked about this evening. So we have other questions, Mel. I can see your eyes scanning Facebook. Are there lots of people there? They've been answered. Oh, that's cool. I like the fact that we're answering questions without us realizing. Yep. Do carry on asking questions. I just want to remind you all that in Breedr you can measure and you can manage and market your animals. And what we want you to do is go and sign up at breedr.co, and Mel or one of the procurement team will be in touch with you tomorrow to talk about the next steps. And the next steps are either to invite your existing rearer or to find a bit more information about your system and what kind of calves you're producing and when, so we can then help you match you to a rearer in the Breedr network. How many calf sellers in Northern Ireland? Northern Ireland is more tricky. So if you are here this evening from Northern Ireland, do get in contact with us. We do have lots of farmers in Northern Ireland. We don't currently link with APHIS, which makes the traceability a bit more difficult. So so it'd be great to talk to you. So do get in contact. You can actually email Mel directly at mel@breedr.co. Yes, it'd be great to talk to you. If a calf is listed in Breedr, can it be sold elsewhere? Now, the thing to say is that if you sell it elsewhere, you won't get the 8-week calf report, and you won't get the protection from the Breedr escrow and protected payments. But if you put your animal up for sale and it doesn't sell in Breedr, there's no reason why you can't sell it elsewhere. What we would say is that you give us plenty of notice that you've sold it elsewhere, so you can remove that listing from Breedr. You can get multiple offers against your listings in Breedr, so it might be that you have multiple potential buyers. You're able to reject those offers and message the buyer and say, maybe give me a little bit more money. So that's all in your control. It's not about standing around a pen and hoping the auctioneer gives you the right price. You are completely in control of that agreement. Somebody sent me an email in the run up to this and asked me several questions, and has now asked me to remember what the questions were. I think they were asking about what the future might hold in terms of genetics and the genetic potential in Breedr. And like I said, the ability for you to get the feedback on the calves as a dairy farmer allows you to make better decisions about what sires you're using. Like Paddy has said, he's looking for sires that don't damage the cow and are easy calving, but at the same time are valuable to his calf rearer. And that's exactly what we're trying to do with the Breedr Precision Livestock Network. It's about easily being able to record data about your animals at every stage of the process that then benefits everybody and the industry as a whole as well. So, I have nothing more to add, I think. Mel, have we got more questions coming in?
Not from Facebook, no.
Ian, is there anything you would like to add?
Sorry, James. I know I'm sort of sitting here in the dark.
So right, I can see you in the chat. So you are out. Hello, everyone. This is Ian, founder and CEO of Breedr. Thanks for joining us, Ian. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
I think probably the only thing I'd like to say is obviously this is a step forward towards sort of helping people get that data feedback to build more efficient supply chains. We're wanting to work with people who are already doing this sort of stuff to help make their processes simpler, and that can be big or small. And I think hopefully we'll see an opportunity for everyone on the supply chain. So, big thank you to Paddy tonight, and also to help testing it and getting it into the state it's in. So it's now working very seamlessly and smoothly. So really looking forward to work with anyone who is interested to move it forward. And please don't hesitate to get in touch with feedback and questions if you've got them after this.
That's great. Paddy, I've got a really good question for you in a minute. I can see you're smiling, so you probably...
I've seen it, and I've had text about it as well.
Oh, great. Okay. Well, so just a reminder of how it works. Sign up to Breedr. Mel will message you, or one of the team will message you tomorrow. What happens is when you put your animals for sale, you'll receive multiple offers, hopefully receive multiple offers against those animals. When you've accepted those offers, Breedr will prompt the buyer to send payment to Breedr. We'll then tell you that that payment's been received. You can then release those animals and send those via a haulier, drop them off yourself, or somebody comes and picks them up. But you can do that in the confidence that you've been paid, and then we'll release that money to you once we can see on BTMS the movement's been done. So it's a really secure, easy to do process. You can do it all from your phone. But we've also got the Breedr web portal as well, which you can access from anywhere. You don't need to download any software.
One of the last thing to add, James, also is about 4 months ago, we also, based on the data and the weight and putting information in, we've launched a finance product. So if you have a rearer or a young rearer that you're working with who's wanting to, build up his herd and improve and get access to money to try and buy those calves, but is willing to put in the data and prove out the value behind those, then another suggestion is you can speak to Mel, speak to myself about financing opportunities, and we can help finance those calves as they go into the rearer as well. And the data really helps prove that out. And another way we can help sort of support young farmers, especially, to get access to finance to be able to grow their herds.
So we got a really good question. We've actually a couple of really good questions. So I know a few of you might have to slip off, but I'm going to carry on going because there's some really good questions coming in. And there are lots of you here still. So thanks for joining us, guys. If you set up a relationship between a dairy and a rearer, so you've already got, like Paddy, you've got an existing relationship, have they got to list on Breedr, or can it be a private sale but still go through Breedr? So what I would say is that it is possible to share your listing directly to somebody. So you don't have to put it out to the Breedr trading, everyone on Breedr trading. You can just share it directly with a person. What I would say is that person does have to be on Breedr. It's not possible for you to get the 8-week calf report by selling to somebody who isn't on Breedr. And that's the benefit of one of the many benefits of being on Breedr. So what I'd say is that, like Paddy only shares his trade to Damien. No one else can see that. But the whole idea is that you can do that as well, but they do have to be on Breedr. So I hope that answers your question. James is asking, can you use the Tapari weighhead? No, but there is something we could look at in the future. The more people that request weighhead integrations, the more sort of votes we add to it, and we develop features all the time. So that is something we can do. And then we have another question from somebody called Ray. Are financial arrangements entirely between individual buyers and sellers? Pardon me, or are you developing further smart contract approaches? I don't quite know what you mean by smart contracts, but the idea is that the money, is securely moved through Breedr. So at every stage, you know that every party is protected, and then the data moves alongside. So in many ways, that probably is what you would consider a smart contract. Mel, anything on Facebook?
Yeah, I've sent it to you.
Oh no!
Is it possible to see a list of top performing sires in the app?
So one of the really important things to say is that we don't share data unless it's yours. So if you're part of the trade, or if you're and you can see the data, and if you are the farmer, you've got access to a plethora of reports. So we've got everything from source farm reports, financial reports, sire reports, advanced calving information reports. That's all yours. So you can't see the top list of fastest growing sires in the app of every farm. You can see it in your own supply chain. So what I'd say is get involved, get a couple of, if you've got rearers already, bring them into Breedr, or if not, we'll help you find a rearer in Breedr. But because we can't show you exactly a list, because that's not what we do. But if you are in Breedr, you can see that information for yourself and on your own farm and your own supply chain. So I think that answers the question. Ian, you don't want to say anything extra on that, do you?
No, you hit the nail on the head, James. So the idea is to help people build their own supply chains and really get the value for that. And yeah, there's no public publishing of everything across Breedr. That doesn't happen.
So we've got a couple of other comments. Apparently, I'd make a great politician. Little do they know I already am. Paddy, I've got a question here for you. It's quite a personal one, so I hope you're right.
Well, I know who it's from, so no, I'm not answering it.
Yeah. Well, is Paddy looking for a partner? Paddy, you have brothers and sisters, don't you? So they can't get hold of the farm.
I've got 2 sisters, yeah.
Well, exactly. So yeah, he's not that much of a catch, I'm afraid, guys. We haven't got any other questions, so I think we might call time there. Just a reminder, what we want you to do is sign up at uk.breedr.co, and Mel and the team will get in contact with you tomorrow. You'll be able to get involved in the step change in British farming that is Breedr. You'll be able to get access to all of the things we've talked about this evening: the 8-week calf report, the feedback, the easy weighing tools, the medicines, the logging of movements and births. and you'll be able to buy and sell cattle with proven credentials to make sure that you're getting the best price available. One of the other things to say that this webinar you've signed up is a series of webinars. We'll be doing another one of these in January, and you're automatically entered, so you can come along and join us then as well. So we do hope you can join us. But thanks guys for joining me. Thanks Paddy for joining us. Really appreciate your time. Ian and Mel, thank you as well for your input. Thank you for everyone in the chat and on Facebook. If you do have any other comments or questions, you can get in touch with us at trading@breedr.co, and one of the team will get in contact with you. If we haven't answered your question, because there are a few here, we'll make sure to follow up with you via email. So yeah, thank you so much for joining us. Excellent. Well, thanks guys. Speak to you all soon. If you've got any more questions, do email us, trading@breedr.co, and sign up on the website now. Cheers guys. Bye.
See ya.